the way he always wants to win the game. You know, when you see other coaches tactically will go maybe into a defensive formation or wait, no matter what, he wants to win football with attacking football. And there was that game when he went to a 5 at the back at Arsenal, wasn't there? Yes, at Emirates.
5-4-1, yeah.
And it was
defensive.
Strange to see him do that because normally he would always be on the front foot. But in terms of big moments, he's one of the best to ever do it, without doubt.
Sorry. No, I was going to say, and a coach of his stature, he's not stuck to one, you know what I mean, one formation. If he feels he has to come to Arsenal and he's Man City and he's play 5-4-1, he'll play 5-4-1. But you can see him at the sideline here. It means the world to him. You know what I mean? His team playing well and you know, playing to a certain standard. It's really good to see. It's really good to see. He won't let them rest on anything.
Because you can kind of look at the different levels of why he's pleased about today, whether it be simply winning a trophy, which is what they're all in it for, whether it be the new players that he's talked about, whether it be, you know, his relationship with Mikel Arteta, and then the league title race as well.
He played it down when he was asked a question about the league title.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, of course you'd rather be in Arsenal's dressing room. You've got a 9-point buffer, but that can quickly change. And I feel if Arsenal would have won today, I just think that would have put Manchester City to bed. Now, it's just asked the question, the pressure will just ramp up just that extra little bit. There was a bit of a break now, obviously, with the internationals, and it gives Arsenal a lot of thinking time that they are the favourites, and rightly so, and I still think they will win it. But it just changes the dynamic. For a team that hasn't got across the line, now you've really asked the question, OK, we're coming after you. And I think with a team like Manchester City, that's probably the last side you want.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that probably goes against them, Ian, is that they've drawn 2 games against West Ham and against Nottingham Forest at the wrong time. But now this has given them that little bit of confidence again.
You know, the thing is people are saying the 9 points, and I think this is not a bad thing for Arsenal to reset themselves and refocus, because they have to. It's not going to be easy, because there's no way the Man City players are going down into that tunnel. This is 9 points, but then they've got a game in hand and they've got to play them. It can go down to 3, and then all of a sudden the pressure really turns up. So this Man City side, make no mistake, you know, him saying he wanted to be 9 points. This 9 points is a tight 9 points, and this is what I feel from Arsenal's point of view have to do. They have to really refocus and just get themselves back on track in what they want to do. They need to win games now. You know, people talk about how they win in the games, the set pieces. It doesn't matter. Everybody knows it doesn't matter. We've got a DNA of winning games with resilience. They've got to kick into that, because I think this team, they know it's not over. It's not over. If we're going to be totally honest about what's going on, it's not over.
What happened with Arsenal today, though, right? From your point of view?
That, you know, like I said, Meeks, I saw that when City were pressing them really high, it seems like City were pressing them really high because I think for a start, Saka's not going to be blasting. I don't think Gyökeres is going to be blasting with the kind of pace that's going to cause them problems. And I don't think Trossard is going to either. I think when you look at how poorly our midfield was in respect of Zubimendi's retention of the ball and how he kept it, it wasn't good today. So even if we were going to try and play out, we didn't have the players who were playing well enough for it. And then all of a sudden, it just kept the ball. We got the ball up top to the guys, Kai Havertz and Gyökeres. It came straight back. And so after the 15 minutes, after that chance, hopefully that chance went in, maybe they would have played differently. But once that chance went in, all of a sudden, City just got more and more confident, just more and more playing, and then more and more expand, and then they just started playing how they play.
Do you give City credit for how they neutralised Arsenal, all of you, in that they particularly in the second half, they couldn't play it short because they pressed high, and yet they couldn't go long because they couldn't keep it up there because City defended as well as they did.
If you looked at the stats today, it felt like Kepa had more touches of the ball from Arsenal than anyone else. He was waiting on the ball, holding the ball. And the disappointment would be...
Which is my point, sorry, about, therefore, do you give City credit for that because he was there holding the ball and had no options?
But I also think you have to look at Arsenal as well, because one thing, they lost Odegaard and no Eze today, and that's a huge blow because you need somebody, as I always think as a midfield, that's where you can win the game, especially if you get hold of it. Cherky started to influence the game second half. You didn't really see Kai Havertz. But the one thing I will say is, even when they went direct, against Ake and Kusanov, they were brilliant. Because that physicality that Arsenal would think they might be the dominant factor never transpired. They dealt with them so well.
Yeah.
I never saw Havertz or Gyökeres win a header or a second ball. So you were never really able to get hold of that game in that area, Ian.
So that's why it felt a little bit like things are going to have to change, because for me, I said it once we started sitting down there after the 15, 20 minutes, I said this game, it needs Martinelli. Because what we needed an out, get everybody up, excuse me, and then try and press them up there, maybe win the ball back, and then see if we could attack them further up the pitch. But we couldn't get out. We couldn't get out because as soon as we got out, Gyökeres would lose it or Kai Havertz would lose it. They'd get it and they'd straight back at us. Straight back at Nkapie, who was on a yellow card.
I think that's exactly right. But I think in answer to your question, Chappers, yes, it is down to Man City as well because they were brave. If you look how they set up when Arsenal had the ball and the goalkeeper was dawdling on the ball, they was going to 4-2-4, wasn't they?
Yes.
And previously, Man City sometimes go with a 3 and they just didn't let them out. But then the defenders had to be brave and go all the way up. That's why you've seen so many tussles in the first half a little bit. And then they saw in the second half, they built on that momentum and Arsenal was making so many individual errors. And I think in modern day football now, everyone is so on trying to play out from the back. Sometimes you just need to kick the ball long, squeeze up, and then get a breather, and then see if Arsenal can do that to Man City. But they just couldn't get anywhere.
Jay, do you think that with Kepa, obviously, mate, we could talk about a goal. Do you think with Kepa, because I haven't seen City do that before, the 4 up like that. Do you think they wanted to keep the pressure on Kepa in playing out like he did? Because it was very shaky. It wasn't solid, was it?
Absolutely. He never looked comfortable with the ball at his feet because also the way that Arsenal are so used to playing with Raya, who's unbelievable, probably one of the best sweeper keepers I've ever seen because he makes great angles for the centre-backs as soon as they've got the ball. It's totally different when you've got a different keeper in there. Yeah. And I think that, of course, he makes a mistake, but I just also think when you've got a goalkeeper that's not used to playing with your back 4, don't complicate it.
Yes.
You know, and Mike, I want to bring you back to something you said off camera, which was a great point. You said
which what?
No, very early in the second half, he said he's got to take off Nkapie. He's got to make the change. He waited, and all of a sudden, 1-0, he was going to make it. They're all ready to come on, and they go 2-0 down. Then the game's pretty much gone. You're not going to get back in it from there. But they should have made that. I think he should have made that substitution early because it'd been booked.
I think you're right. I think we all played football, even at your level, Chappers. Momentum's a big thing in football.
Exactly.
And when Semenyo went up against Nkapie early in the second half, I would said he needs to get him off. Because on the goal, like you said, he wasn't getting tight because he can't trust him. You know Nkapie, he's been brilliant for Arsenal, but he's been brilliant because he's been aggressive. And he couldn't be aggressive because he was on a yellow card. That's when I think the mistake was made. He should have changed it after he'd seen Semenyo was getting the better of him earlier on in that half.
Just on aggressive defending, can I just do one more on Manchester City? And then after the break, we're going to hear from Mikel Arteta. We can